The legacy and voices of our ancestors is a foundation we can stand on and be inspired by today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yesterday, there was a horrible shooting and killing in Jacksonville, Florida, by an avowed racist white supremacist who was out just to kill black people. I would argue that the origin of this kind of thing is way in the past, that this is in our cultural DNA. And these people were actually the victims of our tolerance of this kind of thing at different points in history, and that it spills over even to today. It started with attitudes about those of African descent in this country and them being slaves, and how the law allowed people just to kill them without any trial or any representation, and on through that history of slavery. And then into the periods of Reconstruction when there was horrible lynching and violence, and none of these people ever faced repercussions. We view that mentality of violence and hatred towards black people and murderous tendencies towards black people as something that's a fringe thing, but historically that isn't true. It's epitomized by the KKK, a group that blended Christianity with racism and white supremacy and launched a terror campaign against black folks for a generation. It'd be nice to think that that was just a handful of people and that generally it just wasn't accepted. But one of our own presidents, Woodrow Wilson, welcomed the Klan into the White House and viewed their propaganda movie, Birth of a Nation, and giddily endorsed it and openly embraced it all. So this is what we're fighting when we're trying to rid our society of this mentality of hatred and killing black people in a casual way. Then after that, we got into Jim Crow, and the racism still was there, and this sort of attitude that it's socially acceptable just to go out and kill black people if you feel like it. One of the best examples is Emmett Till. Those that murdered him never found justice. And so throughout our history, we've allowed this, and it filters into the minds even of these people. You think of a guy like Dylan Roof. These are young men. These aren't people that were who grew up steeped in racism in the South in the 1800s. They're people who are our contemporaries. This is filtered into their minds. Our history is filtered into the minds of these people. Throughout our history, this violence and animosity has been a one-sided thing. Nation of Islam and the Black Panthers were accused of being a terrorist, racist organization, but they never were. They never went out and randomly shot up white folks in their neighborhoods or tried to perpetrate violence in the name of racism. But you think back to this. Most people don't know John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln, but what radicalized him was something Lincoln did. He advocated citizenship for former slaves. And that angered John Wilkes Booth so much that was what set him off to go and kill Lincoln. This attitude of hatred is something that we've never really gotten away from. And we sweep it under the rug, and we relabel it. We call it political correctness or whatever, or some other name, some other euphemism. But we never really drag it out in the open and condemn it and try to get rid of it like we should in this country. And when they feel distraught or disconnected or mad at the world, it's socially acceptable in their minds to go out and just start killing black people. So this is a sad chapter in our history we can't seem to close. It just keeps coming back. It just keeps rearing its ugly head. I want to give my condolences to the people and their families who were affected by this. And I want to say that I just want my country to stand up and do better. I want us to stop excusing our racism and excusing the things we've done and acting like we need to cover them up instead of bringing them to light and condemning them, which I think is the ultimate answer. It's not screaming CRT every time we talk about our history. It's not trying to act like this is the paradise that God's created. This country is a great country, but it's flawed. And we need to look in the mirror and correct these flaws so things like this don't keep happening over and over again.